Today, we're diving into a deep analysis from the research house VASRO, and our focus is on the premium grocery retailer Spinneys. We're going to break down their business, unpack their pretty ambitious growth strategy, and look at the key factors that could really shape their future. Okay, before we get into the good stuff, we have to get the important legal bits out of the way. So please note, this research communication is not investment advice and does not constitute an offer, solicitation, or invitation to transact. Full disclosures and limitations are included in the report. And just so we're all on the same page, what you're about to see is a summary of that much more detailed VASRO report. Think of it as a demonstration for investors and really anyone interested on how you can distill a pretty complex analysis down to its most essential parts. So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the core investment thesis from the report. Then we'll peel back the layers of the business model. After that, we'll get into the growth strategy, look at the key risks, and finally, we'll talk about what to keep an eye on going forward. All right, let's jump right in. At the very heart of the VASRO report is the investment thesis, and they frame it as a story of two parts. You've got this super stable, proven core business on one hand, and a huge test of its growth potential on the other. And honestly, this quote from the report just nails it. The whole idea here is built on a really powerful combination. A business that's already a proven moneymaker in the UAE, paired with this massive, visible opportunity to expand into Saudi Arabia. But, and this is a big but, VASRO is quick to say this is no sure thing. They say it's not a free call. And what they mean is that the grocery business, especially when you're all about fresh food, is incredibly unforgiving. Tiny little mistakes in how you run things, they can hit your bottom line, and they can hit it fast. You know, that idea of being operationally intense is the perfect lead-in to our next section, the business model itself. Let's really dig into how Spinneys actually operates and protects its market position. This picture really tells you almost everything you need to know. The report calls it a fresh-led proposition. All that means is that they're high-quality fresh food, the produce, the meat, the bakery. That's the main event. That's what gets people through the door. And, maybe even more importantly, it's what keeps them coming back. And then there's this piece of the puzzle. It's not just about the products. A huge part of their premium feel is the service. It's the whole experience, the deli counters, the helpful staff. This is what lets them be a premium brand and defend that top-tier spot in the market. So, if you put it all together, the report boils it down to these 5 pillars that make the whole model work. You've got that fresh food focus we just talked about. Then there's their own private label brands, which are great for margins. You need that intense discipline on things like waste and service, a smart plan for opening and fixing up stores, and finally, making it easy for people to shop both online and in person. Okay, so that's the engine that's running the company right now. The big question is, how are they going to grow it? Well, the VASR report lays out a very clear 3-part plan for expansion. And here are the 3 layers. First up, you defend your home turf. Keep investing in the UAE with new stores and upgrades. Layer 2, the big one, execute that massive test in Saudi Arabia, but do it in a careful, measured way. And layer 3 is about going international, but doing it smartly, using less of their own money through things like joint ventures and franchises. And look, this isn't just some vague dream on a slide. The report makes it clear that this strategy is backed up by real, concrete plans you can actually track. You can see right here, they've got specific partners for places like Kuwait and the Philippines, and they've put dates on the big launches in Saudi. That adds a serious layer of accountability. And you know what? We're already seeing some positive momentum here. This chart shows some really encouraging year-over-year growth in key areas. Online sales are a bigger piece of the pie. The fresh mix, so the percentage of stuff they sell that's fresh, is climbing, and more people are buying their own private label brands. It's all pointing in the right direction. But as we all know, no growth story is a straight line up. For a truly balanced picture, you have to look at the other side of the story. So that brings us to the key risks and counterpoints that VASRO flagged in their report. This slide just lays out that central tension perfectly. It's like a tug of war, right? For every positive point in the main story on the left, there's a potential risk on the right. That proven UAE profit engine, it's facing tougher competition. The huge growth opportunity in KSA, it could get hit with delays and big upfront costs. It really just comes down to a classic story of execution. So, with that constant push and pull between opportunity and risk in our minds, the report gets really practical. The next question is, what can you actually track to see how things are going? This section is all about those key performance indicators, the KPIs, and the big events that could signal which way the story is breaking. You can think of this slide as a kind of report card measuring the company against its own promises. The report says to keep a close eye on a few things, especially revenue growth and what's called like-for-like growth, which is just a fancy way of measuring sales growth at existing stores. At the same time, other things like their core profit margin and new store openings seem to be right on track. And as we look ahead, these are the specific signposts the report tells us to watch. How do they handle the super important holiday season? What's the latest on the online launch in Riyadh? Do we hear any new details about those international partnerships? These are the milestones that are going to tell us if the strategy is really playing out the way they hope. And really, everything we've talked about, it all boils down to this one single massive question that the VASRO report leaves us with. Can that incredible operational discipline that made Spinneys a winner in the UAE, can it be copied at scale in a brand new and super competitive market like Saudi Arabia? The answer to that is what's going to write the next chapter for this company. So that's our look at the key takeaways from the VASRO report on Spinneys. For the full, in-depth analysis, including all the numbers, disclosures, and limitations, we definitely recommend you check out their complete report.